Welcome to the Trainer Talk, where we discuss topics related to health and fitness to help you gain back control of your health and fitness and become the absolute best version of yourself physically and mentally. Enjoy. In this episode of the Trainer Talk, we discuss our weaknesses and struggles. A lot of people think that since we are personal trainers and coaches that we have everything figured out and we don't have any struggles or weaknesses when it comes to our health and fitness, when in fact we actually do have weaknesses and we do struggle with a lot of things. And so this episode, we cover what our weaknesses are, and then we also discuss some strategies and tips on how to overcome those struggles. A lot of people struggle with the same things, so hopefully we can help you overcome of your weaknesses as well. Okay, cool. On to me.
What you got?
I would say the number one biggest struggle, it's kind of a combination of both, and I think they go hand in hand with each other, is I never feel like I'm doing enough, so I'm constantly trying to do as much as I can, which leads to like mental fatigue. And so bandwidth, just having the bandwidth to do all the things that I want to do and I know I should be doing, or I think I should be doing. Those are probably my biggest weaknesses or struggles. I would say I wouldn't say it's a weakness. I would say it's actually a strength. Is like having the, like I want to be, like I'm motivated to learn and implement, and like I'm driven to do as much as I possibly can. But I just run out of bandwidth and mental energy. And that's something that's been a blessing since you guys have started, because you guys are taking over a lot of what I used to do as far as training and sessions. And that way I can focus on other stuff. So that's been very, very, very helpful, obviously. So I guess as a suggestion, with that being said, like if anybody's struggling with all the things that they do, find help. Like, who could help me in this area? That maybe it's, like stuff around the house, like have, your kids do it and reward them for it. Like ask for help with things that, you need help with. I think that was something that I really struggled with too a long time ago, was the ego. Like, oh, I just need to do it myself.
Yeah.
Nobody can do it better than me or whatever. And that's totally not true. Like you just gotta be willing to ask for help and have that person, help you out with whatever you need help with. So,
I wanted to say, I think that one thing you're really good at is, like, I was kind of surprised from someone who's like started their own business, built it from the ground up, is like delegating responsibilities to other people. Especially with me, when I first came in, it was like right off the bat, like you gave me these things, like setting me up. Here you go.
Yeah.
This is for you. Like take this client, like starting me up. And like, I feel like it's hard for a lot of people to just do that.
It
like,
was.
I'm sure it was hard at first.
Yeah.
It was very tough at first.
So I thought it was pretty fun. Yeah.
And actually, I didn't really do that as much with other people. But since I knew you had some experience with the Delta certification or the degree that you're doing.
Yeah.
And then doing that 8-week basically training program with a client. So you had some experience. So yeah, I felt a little bit more comfortable that way.
Yeah.
But
Which it was probably kind of scarier for you when I first started working here, and like Martin or whatever, because I mean you did all the classes, and I was thinking about this the other day. You did all the classes, pretty much all the personal training, and then you handed, like, I think Martin and I started doing like the Sunday Fit Camp together, and then eventually you were like, hey, would you want to do
Thursday?
7 p.m. Thursday at 4 or 5 or whatever.
Might have been the 7 p.m.'s first.
7 p.m.'s first.
And then it was the Thursday 4 and 5.
Yeah.
Yep. So it was a slow process, I think. Like, I didn't want to throw too much at you guys. And because I had a really hard time separating, because I like had a relationship with people, and I like, it was actually gotten to, speaking of bandwidth, the one of the main reasons was, one, I wanted to give you the opportunity to like start teaching more classes, but two, by 5 p.m. especially, like the 4 p.m. was okay, but by 5 p.m. I was going on like my 13th hour of the day, and my mental energy was diminished. And so I felt like I was doing a disservice to everybody that was in that class. Like I wasn't able to bring the energy and coach to it how I wanted to, or to the level that they deserve. Mm-hmm. So that was like, I need to step away from doing the night classes, because they can get a better experience and a better class from somebody like Bethany, who's energetic and like awake at that time. Mm-hmm. So now it's like setting boundaries, like, okay, by 6 p.m. it's like time to wind down at the end of the day and recover and get ready for the next day. So and a big part of that's just like decision overload. That's another thing that I struggle with, is like it's really hard to explain unless you have a business that you own, and you can probably imagine some of it, but like I'm literally thinking about different things all day, every day, like different things that we could do or we should be doing, or this or that, things that we need to do and plan for, prepare for. Like right now in this moment, like we've got the 6-week challenge going. We're trying to get our athletic training camp going. We've got the turkey trot coming up. We've got some different new things that we're going to be trying out. If anybody listening might get a free trial. So we're doing that. Just a lot of different things. And then there's some other ideas that we talked about that maybe will happen in the future. So there's always stuff that I'm thinking about, and that leads to like forgetfulness of other things. So I tend to forget a lot of things. So I almost need like an assistant or somebody. Like my mom, I've kind of talked to. I was like, you need to like, it'd be cool if you could remind me of some certain things. So she's taken on that task a little bit, and just writing stuff down.
Sticky notes.
Yeah, sticky notes everywhere.
We run on sticky notes, I feel like.
Yep. So with that, like having such big goals with the gym and with you guys, and trying to make sure that I'm doing everything that I can, and leading by example and providing an excellent experience and service. Like obviously it takes a lot of energy. So like when it comes to working out, like for everybody listening, they can probably relate, like you're not always energized to work out. You're not motivated to work out. Like sometimes it's the last thing you want to do. So that's another struggle, is like a lot of people think that we like love working out. We can't wait to do it. That's not the case all the time. Like especially some of the workouts that we have to do, we are not looking forward to them. Like yesterday I was like, I don't even want to do my Metcon. So I did your Metcon with you instead. But I still did a Metcon. I still got the work done, crushed it. So that was cool. But for me, like I just start. It's just like, okay, I'm going to mix up my pre-workout. I'm going to drink it, and I just need to get started. And then I will have a great workout. I know that if I start, I'll feel super accomplished when I'm done. So for everybody out there that's worried about, I'm not motivated to do X, Y, or Z, just start. So if it's a workout, like put your workout clothes on. If it's meal prepping or eating healthy, like maybe get out the pan and start cooking, and then you're obviously gonna eat healthier. Cleaning up your environment is a big thing. Like if there's junk food around, hide it, throw it away, whatever you need to do to set yourself up for success. That's definitely gonna help. With everything that I just went over, caffeine is another weakness of mine, just like with these guys. Just to get the focus that I want and all that stuff. So I'm going to try to do a little bit less caffeine. I don't know if I can give it up.
There is no try. There is do.
Yeah. You're right. Okay.
We're going all or nothing.
You guys are right. Something else I struggle with is like actually taking a step away and like completely letting, like if I'm going away or doing something else, kind of letting go of everything that's going on, like letting the thoughts go and just completely taking a break. I've gotten a lot better at it because I trust you guys to run everything smoothly, which has been cool. That didn't happen for like 5 years. So like, I forget what the first circumstance was.
COVID.
Probably like COVID. And then when I had COVID, it was gone for a week. And then my honeymoon, I was gone for a week. And like, it was finally a time that I could just kind of like completely unwind. But even every weekend, like I try to have one day where I just don't do anything. But I really struggle with like, just what do I do? Like just relax? I don't know. Like I want to do something. So I have a tough time with that. Just kind of like unwinding, recovering, letting go, just kind of doing stuff. I want to be productive.
I think that's really important too, being able to unwind and let go, because I know quite a few people that are always just, their brain is all over the place. They're always like, okay, on to the next thing. I got to do this. I got to do that. I got to do this. And just like taking over all these responsibilities, and their stress is just through the roof, and it's not healthy.
Yeah.
Like I've seen it firsthand, and it takes a toll. Like it really does.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Especially over a long period of time.
Like a short amount of time, that's completely fine and expected. Of like, you got to be go. It's like one thing right after another, and like that's fine. But yeah, I mean, it leads to burnout, and you're way too stressed, and you end up like exploding at the end of it, and you have to like take a week or two off.
Yeah.
You know, so it's like, it's hard to maintain that kind of way about going things.
So it's good. I think this is good to hear.
And what's really cool too, and through talking about this stuff with my mentors, like you guys, I have the Zoom calls like every week. And every other week I meet with Jeff, which is my mentor. So like for anybody out there that's never had a coach, like we're coaches and I have a coach. Like I have a mentor help me. So everybody I think needs a mentor or somebody to help them.
Does your mentor have a mentor?
Yeah.
There
for
you
sure.
go.
Everybody does. Yeah. I mean, Alex Hormozy has mentors.
Yeah.
I mean, every mentor has a mentor. But like he holds me accountable to certain things. And so what we figured out was like a week out of every month, or maybe every other month, I'll just be like totally unmotivated and kind of more tired than normal. And that's just like a normal process. So I've come to the understanding of like, okay, this is just that week where I just need to do what's required. And I'm not going to do anything exceptional or anything more than that, just because this is the week that I need to kind of like recover, repair, or kind of take a break a little bit to an extent.
Yeah.
So, and then I know that if I just kind of coast through or take it easy for a week, then I'll jump right back up the next week and then energized. So for those people, like I'm sure people go through those times all the time, like where they're just really worn down. And what you need to understand is it's okay. It's just a part of life. Like you need to just focus on yourself, recover, relax, repair, rejuvenate, and then get back on track, or like you will pick back up in a week or 2 weeks or a month, whatever it is. And that's why like mini vacations, camping, like that stuff's so important, is because it gives you that time away from like the real world and stuff. And then you come back most of the time, like how many times have you gone on vacation, and if it's like more than a couple days, it's like, oh my God, I can't wait to like get back home.
Yeah.
Like you're ready to get back into your routine. Yeah. Like, so it did its purpose. Like you took your break, you had your fun, you relaxed, and then it's like, okay, I can't wait to get back home and like get back in my routine. Yep. So that was like the little break that you needed in order to. So I've really come to understand that those are important. And that's why like on the weekends, like there's a day, you know, I love movies. I don't watch movies all week. We have like 30 minutes to 45 minutes that we watch our show, and then I'll usually get some more work done or do something productive, read, whatever. And then on the weekend is like, okay, if I want to watch a movie, I can do that. And that's what I like to do. Same thing. That's like my dessert, you know, same thing with dessert. Like I'll get a Blizzard, watch a movie usually every weekend. And then, and then 90% of the time I'm like on track and productive. So it just keeps me sustainable, and accountable to it. So those would definitely be some of my main struggles. As far as like nutrition goes, if it's there, I'm going to eat it big time. Like when we go camping, I probably eat more junk food than any other family member because I love snacks and treats. So if it's there in my environment, I'm going to have it. And that's why I need to like plan ahead a little bit and have a little more willpower and be on track all week. Part of that I think is just because like I'm one of the healthiest people in the family. So it's like since I'm on track all the time, I don't really care if I go off the walls and have treats 4 times a year. Like it's okay if I have all the snacks when we're camping or whatever. But at the same time, it's a weakness. So it's important that I set up my environment for success so that I don't go off the walls. And eating when bored, you guys answered that. Like, just find something else productive that you can do to like occupy your time. Like, the only reason that we get hungry and mindlessly eat is because we're bored.
Yeah.
And so if you just find something else to do, like household chores, like go outside, go for a walk, read, whatever, usually you can overcome that. So
yeah,
cool.
I agree.
Yeah. On your like going out to families and eating all these foods and stuff, like, I mean, I'm sure if you kept those foods in your house, you would eat them.
Yeah,
absolutely.
100%.
And it's like, it's not, we don't have like this insane amount of willpower or discipline where like, yeah, we can have those foods in the house and just never touch them. Like, we look at them and never touch them. Like, we're some sort of hardcore person. And we're not. Like, we're just kind of like, we're like anybody else. If they have those kinds of foods in the house, easy to access, you see them every time you walk into the kitchen, you're going to eat it more likely because you don't even think about it until you see it.
Mm-hmm.
But then if you put it up, man, we have some really high cupboards in this house. And so there's like a fourth shelf, which I can't even reach unless I get like a step stool. So if I did keep anything in the house that was like a treat or that I didn't want to eat all the time, I'd put it up there. Because one, I can't see it.
Yep.
When I first open the cupboard.
And you got to get a stool out to get it.
Yes.
So it makes it inconvenient.
Yeah. So even if it's like, if you want to keep some sort of a treat in the house so you don't feel super deprived, or, you know, maybe you're prone to eating spoonfuls of peanut butter, I don't know, put it up there where you don't see it all the time.
Yeah.
And
that's a good example. Like, make those things inconvenient and make the healthy stuff convenient. So like with my ice cream, if I had a tub of ice cream at home and I was like, oh, I can only have it on the weekend, it would drive me nuts. Like, I'd be looking in the freezer every day, like, oh, I just want ice cream. Yeah. But we don't keep ice cream at home. We have to drive to Dairy Queen to get a Blizzard. And that's way more inconvenient than having a tub of ice cream at home. So it just goes to show, like, your environment's everything, you know? So, like, I know that, hey, if I want a Blizzard, I've got to get in the truck. You know, me and Katie and the dog will drive to town, get in line. Sometimes it's full. Sometimes that's enough to not even get it, too. It's like, if I got to wait in line for 20 minutes, I'm not getting freaking Blizzard. Like, screw that. So it's very inconvenient to do it, and that's why we only do it once a week or every other week. So.
Yeah. It's that special occasion.
Yeah. Yep. Awesome.
Yeah. It's everything.
Yeah. I have a couple other things on here, but we don't need to go too far into it. One thing is just like shiny object syndrome. I really like new stuff. I'm trying to get better at trying to get, especially like with the gym. Like, I'm always like, and I'm sure people that have been here a while can relate or understand what I'm talking about. Is like, I'm always trying new things. You know about this, like the newest thing that we can try here at the gym. Like, I'm all about trying it, and I'm learning that we just need to do what we've been doing better, and that is all we really need to do, not necessarily implement a bunch of new stuff. So like all the newest, latest apps and programs and training methods and all that stuff, it's not necessarily the way to go. It's more like the longer you do something, the better it's going to be, rather than the newest, latest, greatest thing. So that goes like with fad diets, like the newest, latest thing, that's what people do. Whereas if they just like stuck with the first thing they tried long enough, they'd probably be 10 times more successful with it. You know, whatever you can stick with the longest is usually going to be the best possible plan. So that's another thing that I struggle with, that I'm definitely getting a lot better at, though. But
yeah, I do remember the one day you were like, I'm sorry, but I'm going to change things again. You're like, I had to
apologize for it.
I know, you apologized for it before. You're like, yeah, I'm sorry, I'm changing things up again or whatever. And so it's just kind of funny. But I mean, I understand because I get the same way too.
Me too.
And I think we all kind of like realize like, okay, like it's probably just a shiny object. You know, we're just like looking at the new thing and we get all excited about it. And we're like, is it really going to be magical? Probably not. But you know, we like to try it anyways.
Give it like a month, and then are you gonna want it just as bad a month later?
Well, that's
you know what I mean?
That's what I've been definitely using as like a tool. It's like, if you just wait a little bit longer, like whatever you want right now, like wait a week and see if you still want it.
Yeah, exactly.
Or,
that's what I do.
Yeah,
I do that with Amazon. Like if I want something, I'll just like leave it in my cart now, and if I still want it after a while, then I'll like go back and add it, or if I actually need it, then I'll buy it. But if it's something that I'm like, oh, this new workout top or whatever looks cool. So I just like, well, I'll add it to my cart and I'll think about it.
Yeah.
And then usually I come back and I'm like, I don't really need it. So then I don't buy it.
That's what I do too. Yeah, 100%. Yep. One other tip that I did want to bring up, like everything that we just talked about, obviously the goal is to try to help people overcome their weaknesses and struggles and move toward becoming a healthier and happier version of themselves. That's kind of our mission here at Teach Fitness. So a tool that you can use actually from Alex Ramosi, the frame of the veteran. So when we talk about all these decisions that we make every day, like being productive or not productive, watching TV all day, scrolling our phone all day, it's like imagine yourself as your 80-year-old version of yourself. Look back on your life and ask yourself, okay, would you have changed anything? Like, did you get any value from scrolling your phone every single day for the last 50 years? Like, no. Like, are you proud that you watched TV for 3 hours every single day? Like, think of yourself at the end of your life as an 80-year-old and then tell yourself what decisions you would make differently. And then you can make those different decisions right now, today.
Yeah.
Almost looking like from your future self. Like, okay, what would you do differently, or what would you recommend to your younger self to be whoever you want to be? And then you can start taking action now instead of waiting until you're old and be like, oh, shoot, I probably should have done this or this or that.
Yeah. And I think that perspective also makes you more appreciative of the things that really matter.
Yeah.
Because if you, like, you're going to die one day, and I feel like people just kind of like shove it under the rug, or until like something kind of brings their face up to it, like a loved one dies, or they have some sort of incident where they're like, oh man, it kind of like makes your mortality more real. And then they either make these big changes or something like that. And it's just knowing like what we're doing now, like we need to just remind ourselves of what really matters. Like, what are we going to look back on and really enjoy when we're 80, or however long you live? Or just like, what are you going to look back on and be proud of, or happy that you spent time on? What's really going to matter at that point? I'm like, it's your relationships, what you did throughout your life. Like, was it productive? Did you make a difference in your community, or like your family, friends, whatever? It's like, you just kind of look back on that, and that's what matters. It doesn't matter, how much body fat you had when you were 21, or how much your back squat was. Like, okay, it's cool to look back on, but it's not the thing that matters overall for your whole life.
Yeah. I remember we did a little exercise, and it was like, okay, I spent on average, like, it was like 12 or 20 hours or whatever on my phone every week, and I spend less than an hour with my family.
Yeah.
And so I was thinking about like a goal of mine has been like, okay, on Friday night, I'm tired, I want to relax, it's the weekend, like I get to sleep in. I'd love to just go home and like put on a movie or a TV show and kick back. But then I think about that and I'm like, okay, would you have rather like enjoyed those Friday nights just watching TV, or do you want to like go and visit your family? So now like once every weekend I try to go and like visit my dad, because I don't see him as much as my mom. She's here every day. But like I'll try to go like visit my dad and hang out with him at least once a weekend. And I think that if I look back at my life, I'm going to be very happy that I did that stuff, rather than just like, oh, I was tired, so I went home and laid on the couch or whatever.
Yeah.
I've been trying to do those same things, and like I think about it now, and a lot of times I feel like I need that time just relaxing, doing nothing. But like now I think about, do I really need to be sitting on the couch? Like, or can I just go out and
I definitely think there's times for that.
Yeah, but like I feel like a lot of people
over exaggerate how much
they're like, oh, I need to relax and watch TV.
Yeah.
I need to relax and unwind and do this.
Though?
It's like, and there's like certain, like especially this weekend, it was just like working or like doing something pretty much every hour, and then I was like up late packing and moving. Like I was so productive during the day that when my head hit the pillow, I didn't have to like do any wind down. I was out, and then I slept solid.
That's one thing that I hate to say this, but if you really struggle sleeping, you're probably just not doing enough.
Yeah.
I mean, people think that they're super busy, like they work 40 hours, but 40 hours is not that much. It's less than 25% of your week. I mean, you're not physically exerting yourself just because you're at work. most people are only productive for a couple hours at work. There's a lot of downtime or whatever. So it's like if you want to sleep better, you just need to do more. I 100% agree. Like nights that, days that I work super, super hard, like I hit the pillow and I'm out. I can go home and take a nap and give me 37 minutes. I'm asleep for 30 of them. Yeah. So it's just impressive. All about the mental and physical energy, I think, that you're exerting.
And like you get a capacity with it too of like, I used to be like the same way of like, oh, I need to like go home and watch TV during my break just to like unwind before I come back to work on Tuesdays and Thursdays or whatever. And I'm like, I don't really need to. Like I like was productive the one day, like it was a few weeks ago or a month ago, and I was like doing something the whole time and I felt better because I was actually moving and doing something productive. Like I had more drive to like come back and I was like in a good, even better mood. And I'm like, okay, so I'm just telling myself the story in my head to justify why I'm being lazy and not doing anything.
Yeah.
And I think you have a work capacity that you can build up to. You're not used to it at first. Like, maybe it's getting home and doing yard work instead of watching TV. Like it's going to be hard at first, but it's the same thing with workouts.
Yeah.
You don't go out and go for a 60-minute run if you've never even walked for more than 30 minutes before. You kind of build up to that. So you can build up to more workload, physical and mental, over time just by like, I don't know, you just kind of like get over your own excuses.
Yeah.
I guess that kind of has to,
you got to be aware that you're making them in the first place.
Yeah.
I think we just get caught up in like, okay, we're only supposed to work 40 hours a week. And if you do anything more than that, you're doing way too much and you're going to be tired. It's like, well,
you should be tired.
It's all up to your decisions. Yeah. But like you said, like you could build the capacity where 8 hours works nothing.
Yeah.
If you built up that capacity, then you have extra time to do other stuff to be productive and do things that you really want to do,
Yep, totally agree.
Thanks again for tuning in to the Trainer Talk. If you are ready to gain back control of your health and fitness, we would love to sit down and chat with you to see if we can put together a plan for you. All you have to do is head to taylorhutchinsonfitness.net and book a free consult. Again, make sure you like and subscribe if you like the video, and hopefully we'll see you soon.